Welcome back, everyone. Today's video is going to be on latitude and longitude. And as you can see here, I've got these different angles of the Earth showing, along with the lines of latitude and longitude, the degrees. And I'm using a three-dimensional image here that a friend recommended I use, compliments of Google Earth. And today's lesson is going to be using some of these images to allow us to see, hopefully more clearly, what latitude and longitude look like on a three-dimensional scale, basically. Using this Google Images here, I'll be able to show you, hopefully in a more clear way, what latitude and longitude look like. Okay, and as you can see here, it's got the degrees, it's got, north, south, east, and west, and it's showing us basically, I'm trying to show you every angle I can possibly think of. Even showing you the North Pole here, what it looks like from the top if we were able to do that. And prior to Google Earth, it wasn't very easy to just have easy access to images such as the North Pole from this angle. We've always seen it in a two-dimensional form, so it's kind of cool to see it from this point of view. And I also have one of Antarctica, which growing up we did have maps that showed this as a separate image on a map, on a two-dimensional map, but here you can see it's here too as well. I just wanted to put it up just to show it to you. So we'll be going over different coordinates of latitude and longitude, and so why don't we take a look now at these images. So here we have the first image, and as you can see, I've decided to try to show the picture of the Earth that shows north, south, east, and west, as well as the equator, which is here, and the prime meridian, which is here. It's not labeled, unfortunately, but it is right here, as you can see, as I go up and down on it. So I will, before I start doing the coordinates for latitude and longitude, I just wanted to go over again the directions that latitude and longitude run. So we'll start with latitude here, and the starting point here for latitude is along the equator, which is right here, and it runs north and south. So if we start here at the equator, then we're just going to move up here 10 degrees to the north, then we'll go up another 10, 20. Disregard the Tropic of Cancer. That is not one of the lines. That's why it's in bold yellow. The next one here is right here. That's 30 degrees. And you get the gist of it here. It's just starting with the equator, which would be 0. We're just moving up 10 degrees each time. Okay, so that's the north. And then if you're going to go south, it would be the exact same thing. You would start at the equator again, and just move down south 10 degrees here, and then 20, then again down to 30, and so forth. So that's the equator here for latitude. And growing up, we used to say lat is flat, meaning it's going down like that, flat. So it's going north and south. And then for longitude, I'm using the prime meridian here, and even though it is not specifically named here, I am highlighting it here to show you where it is, and that's just moving east and west. So if we're going to go east, it's also 10 degrees. So prime meridian would be 0, then you just move over 10 degrees. There's 10 degrees east. Then you move over 20 degrees east, and then 30 degrees east. If we're going to go west, and it's just the same thing, you're just going to go start at the prime meridian here, which would be, then you go 10 degrees west, and then 20, and then 30, and so on. Okay, so I just wanted to do a quick review of what latitude and longitude are. I'll just give you a quick little visual here before we do the locations I have. And again, if you have any questions about all this, if you want to see more, just send me a message and we can make an arrangement. Let's take a look at our locations now. So here are our first two locations. As you can see, I've got a red dot here, down in the bottom left corner, and a blue dot here. And this is pretty much focusing on the African continent, as you can see. And I picked this one because it shows, again, all the directions of north, south, east, and west. So to start off my first lesson here for the video, I thought I'd use this as a way for us to get oriented in reading this with a more of a three-dimensional graph here. So let's go ahead and take a look at the red dot down here in the bottom left. And we're going to start off with the latitude first, the degrees. So I'm using the equator here as my point of reference. So as you can see, I've just drawn a line here to help guide me here. I'm going to find out where it is located using that. So just scrolling over, I'm going to stop here, and then that's the equator is 0, and I'm just going to go down 1, and that's 10 degrees. So that's 10 degrees south. And now using the prime meridian, which is here, hopefully this isn't disorienting you too much. That's why I showed you on the previous image, the one that was more centralized. So when I shift it over, you can see that it's still there. So there's the prime meridian, and that's 0. So we start with 0 here, and then move 10, and then 20. And it's west. So that would be 20 degrees west. So my answer here then for the red dot here is the location is 20 degrees south. I'm sorry, not 20 degrees south. Excuse me. 10 degrees south and 20 degrees west. Okay, so again, my bad. The location for the red dot is 10 degrees south, 20 degrees west. Okay, so let's go ahead and take a look at the blue dot. So looking at the blue dot here, again, I'm going to start off at the equator here, and now I'm just going to move north. So again, like I said, here's the equator. I'm going to start here and just count up 10, 20, and that might be a little hard to see, but that's 20. Disregard the Tropic of Cancer, as I said. So 30. So the northern location is 30 degrees north. Now let's look at the prime meridian, which is here again, and it's not labeled, but as I said in the earlier in the video, this is definitely the prime meridian. So I'm just going to start here and then start counting from 0 here, going 10, 20 degrees, and this is going east from the prime meridian. So the answer then is going to be 30 degrees north and 20 degrees east for the location of the blue dot. Okay, so, and again, I'm going to show you different angles here of this. And if it's a little disoriented because it's maybe a more three-dimensional of the actual Earth, you'll get used to it. And, you saw me make a little bit of a slip up earlier just because recording and talking and looking at the same time. So it's, we all make these little mistakes. As long as we catch them and correct them, that's all that matters. Okay, so let's go ahead and take a look at the next image now. Okay, here's our next image here. As you can see, I've got a red dot pretty much right smack in the middle of the picture here. So we're going to start off at the equator again. Now, based on this three-dimensional image, the equator looks like it's pretty far down, but it's clearly indicated here where it is. So we're just going to move up on the equator here. So we start here at the equator, that's 0. Then we go up to the next line, which is 10. And go up to the next line here, which is 20. Again, disregard the Tropic of Cancer. That's not part of the count. The next line up is here, which is 30. And then the next one up here is 40. So the first coordinate here is 40 degrees north. Okay, let's move over to the prime meridian. And now here we got the prime meridian. We're just going to move east. I'm just going to count by 10, starting with the prime meridian. That's 0. Then move over. That's 10. And then it's 20. That's 30. Here's 40. Still moving east here, 50. And then here, that's 60. So the answer then for this location is 40 degrees north and 60 degrees east. Okay. And again, relying on for the coordinates, I'm relying heavily on my equator and prime meridian and the numbers that it's giving me. And every time I've been doing this, you can see I'm making sure the numbers are there to justify and give you a visualization of me counting it. Okay, so again, this seems a little bit odd. That's why I deliberately picked these pictures with a lot of numbers here. It seems a bit weird, but again, you get used to it pretty quick. Okay, let's take a look at the next image now. So here's an image of the North Pole. And again, I deliberately picked this one just because I like looking at the North Pole from this vantage point. Although because it's the top of the world basically, it's a little tricky reading this latitude and longitude, which is why I waited to do this until I was almost done giving the demo lesson, just because it's a little disorienting, I guess, just counting. We're used to looking at two-dimensional maps and counting and latitude and longitude like that. So I saved this one for the end because it's just a little bit, it is a bit, distorting at first because you're not used to it. So we're going to start off with going north for the latitude. So here's my 90 degrees north, and that's going to be my point of reference to count. Now I'm going to count backwards here since the equator is down in the middle, and we counted up to the top. So now we're basically going to be counting downwards. So here's 90 degrees. Then I'm going to go to the next line here, and I'm going to highlight the 80 degrees north line because that's my point of reference to count down. So there's 80 degrees north. Then I'm going to go to the next line, and there's where the red dot is. Here it is, boom. And I'm highlighting it here to show you that that's going to be 70 degrees north. Okay, now let's try to figure out what the next location is here for longitude. So I'm going to start here with 180 degrees west, and I know where the red dot is. It's here, so I'm just going to use this that I'm highlighting as my guide to count. And it is also counting backwards because we're going from west to east. So I've got 180 degrees west, then I'm moving here to 160. I'm sorry, not 160. 180 degrees west is 170 here. So excuse me, 170 degrees, then 160, and then finally 150 degrees east. So then my answer then is going to be 70 degrees north and 150 degrees east. Okay, so, and you can see it's a little bit tricky to count like this, mainly because of the numbers are a bit bunched up. So I didn't mean to confuse you or throw you in for a loop there when I was counting from 180 degrees down to 150. And if you're wondering why it went from west to east, it's basically because this is the western portion here of the prime meridian. And then here you can see everything is west that I've just highlighted, which means the next point here is going to be east. So all this is east here. Okay. The map unfortunately stops at 140 degrees east here, so it doesn't go all the way around, basically, mainly because uh, the the numbers here are bunched up, so it's not easy to read. Okay, so but if you're wondering why it didn't stay west, as you can see here, here's 180 degrees. If I count this way, then it's 170, 160, then 150 degrees west. So it can't be, and my dot is here, so it's obviously not going to be here because it's west, so it's going to be east. And like I said, after 180 degrees, the numbers switch, the direction is switching from west to east. Okay, so hopefully I didn't confuse you too much with that. If I did, I apologize. And if you've got any questions or concerns, please just leave a comment down below or send me a message and we can make an arrangement. Okay, I'm sorry, not an arrangement. We can make an arrangement to talk about it. Yes. Okay, let's go ahead and look at the bonus activities now. Here's the bonus activity, and as you can see, I've gone back to that original image I showed you at the beginning of the video, where it's got all of the directions here. It's got north, south, east, and west here. Okay, I've just got 3 different locations for you to do. And if you want to do this bonus activity, I just want you to write down the coordinates like you saw me do here. Okay, now this one is a bit not quite as conventional as my other videos, where I can say you don't need to print the image to do the assignment. Now, because this is a 3-dimensional image, it would take you far too long to try and attempt to draw this. Okay, so you're gonna really have to print this one in order to successfully write down the locations for the red dot that's here, the purple dot that's here, and the blue dot that's here. Okay, so if you can get access to a printer, awesome. It doesn't have to be in color per se, but if you print it black and white, it may come out pretty, not very, it may not come out clear. Okay, so I'm just giving you a caution on this. Okay, so it's just an extra activity. If you wanted to try it, here it is, and you can kind of just give me the locations, give me the coordinates for each of these dots. Okay, now I've got another image here, and like the North Pole, but it's not the North Pole. It is the, as you can see, it's the South Pole. And as you can see, I did not leave any dots because I want you, the viewer, to try and you pick your own 3 coordinates here. Okay, so you can choose the 3 you want, any 3, and just tell me where they are. And you don't have to use different colors like I did. You can use this one color. Just make sure you don't bunch them up so it's easy to read. And it's basically the exact opposite of what the North Pole was. So anything we did with the North is basically going to be, now it's in the South as far as the counting for the is concerned. Okay, and I just threw this in here. Just well, again, I like looking at this Antarctica from this vantage point. It's kind of cool, and I just thought some of you may like the challenge of reading the poles, latitude and longitude. You heard me with the North Pole. I did kind of stumble a bit because it's just a little bit strange to look at this angle here. And so I know some of you can see it very clearly. So if you're into this and you want a bit of a challenge, here you go. You pick any 3 coordinates for Antarctica and you just write them down and show them to me. Okay? And that'll be it for this video, guys. And hey, I really appreciate you as always. Thank you so much for spending part of your day here with me and watching my videos. I have a really great time making these, and I really look forward to seeing you guys again for my next video. Thanks again. Thank you once again for joining in today's lesson. Please message me through Facebook Messenger, or you can email me at jollyformore@gmail.com to learn more about my online tutorial service. Please leave a comment down below. If you know someone interested in hiring an online tutor, share this video. And if you would like to get a bell notification for all my newest videos, please subscribe to my channel. I look forward to seeing you again in my next video. And until then, please be safe out there. Have a great day.